Greetings, everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. It is Monday, the start of another week. The week before Christmas week. Man, it's getting busy out there. Today is part 3 in my series of the Year in Review 2023. Today I want to talk about the bands that I discovered/rediscovered in 2023. So it's somebody that I was more than aware of, that I just stopped listening to for whatever reason and found a new appreciation for them, started listening again, or bands that people turned me on to that were around for a long time and I never paid any attention to, never heard before in my life. So I just got a few of them to show here. Let's get started. Number 1, let's start with The Clash. I knew the hits. I actually had the Essential Clash, which I didn't listen to that often, but the odd time it got played. I mean, I love London's Calling and just all the Train in Vain. All the classic Clash songs were always kind of on my radar, but I never paid any attention to the Clash. And what got me interested was a CD album exchange we used to do with Randall Nelson and on Rich's channel, Rich Strickler, and Rich put this album up for grabs, Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros Street Corps. So I grabbed it to review. Immediately frickin' fell in love with this album. I had no idea Joe Strummer even had a solo career. That's how much I paid attention. And this was actually released posthumously, and I don't care. It's fantastic. Words can't describe how much I loved this album when I heard it. Thank you, Randy, for that. And I became a huge Joe Strummer fan. I ended up buying this set, 002. There's other Joe Strummer albums too, but I got this box set with some extra stuff in it and everything. And earlier this year, they released Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros. I think re-released maybe, or maybe just officially released. This is a album live at Acton Hall, London, 2002. Fantastic live album. So Joe Strummer's what got me going first, then The Clash. And like I said, I had the Essential, but then from there, I got live From Here to Eternity. I got Give 'em Enough Rope. I got Combat Rock. I got the debut album. I got London Calling. I got Live at Shea Stadium, and I got Sandinista. Man, become a huge Clash fan. So that's this year. Is that enough? Just for 1 year. Next, let's go The Police. I don't know what got me listening to The Police again. I was in a used store and I bought a comp really cheap, like $5. It was like a double. I should have brought it over, but it's like a hits thing, right? It was more than hits. It was a pretty comprehensive comp. And I listened to it and I went, man, I like The Police, because I always liked Sting. I was more of a Sting guy after he left The Police, because I loved Dream of the Blue Turtles and Nothing But the Sun, the live album Bring on the Night. I loved his band. I was a Sting fan. Call him a wanker if you want, but I love Sting. And liked The Police, never loved The Police. Went back and started listening to The Police and frickin' just went, man, these guys are frickin' awesome. Became a huge fan. So I bought all the vinyl. I didn't bring it over to show you, but I have every Police album on vinyl. And then I can't remember the dude's name, but a gentleman in the UK who was a fan of my channel and knew I was getting into The Police sent me this box set. It just showed up unannounced, man. I don't even know where the guy got my address, to tell you the truth. He must have known somebody who had it or something, because this is called Every Move You Make, the studio recordings. It's got, it's a fantastic set. It really is. I still thank you every day for this, man. It's got all the Police albums, and I'm going to sneeze. A triple. Synchronicity. great set. Thank you so much. I treasure this. I listen to it all the time, and I am a huge Police fan now. That was something that happened to me this year. Next, on a live chat with Norman Maslov, I think on Larry's channel, might have been on mine, I can't remember. Mazzy brought up the band Morphine. I never heard Morphine before in my life. Went onto Spotify and checked them out. Just went, wow, this is very cool. Morphine's like a trio, alternate alt-rock trio, but instead of guitar, bass, and drums, which you would normally find in that kind of a makeup of a band, these guys are saxophone, bass, and drums, and fantastic. I just frickin' love these albums. Cure for Pain, The Night, and Like Swimming. They're the three I have. Every one of them, I don't like one over the other. They're all great. There's not a bad song on any of them. Really sings to me, this music. I absolutely love Morphine. Next, Larry. On the CD exchange that Larry and I did with each other, there was one that I wanted that I think someone sent him, a fan had sent him, and he told me about it, and I was always interested in hearing it, and I asked him to give it to me on the exchange, and I fell in love with it. Alice Coltrane, Journey in Satch in Nanda, featuring Pharoah Sanders. Became one of my top 3 jazz albums of all time. I'm sure I have played this 1,000 frickin' times this year. I just think this album is brilliant. It's a mixture of jazz and soul and funk and African rhythms and East Indian rhythms, and man, just a frickin' masterpiece of an album. Masterpiece. She's so amazing. And then I picked this one up on vinyl. Fat the El Dowd. Another great record. These are the 2 I have. Some of the other stuff I've listened to is really stretching it. I haven't found anything else I like, but I love these 2 albums. And there's one she did with Carlos Santana called Illumination, which I know my buddy Alex at Beer and Vinyl got at a record show. And I'm jealous, and he says it's great. I'm still looking for it. Okay. Next, John Coltrane. I have tried so hard to like this album. I know it's a masterpiece, a love supreme. I just have never been able to get into it. So I was down in Florida earlier this year visiting my daughter, and looking on the Amazon warehouse sales, and I found this. John Coltrane, the Classic Album Collection, 8 legendary LPs on 4 CDs. I think I bought it for like $10. 8 LPs. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. I'm starting to get more into Coltrane listening to this. Then this one is the most accessible Coltrane, and an absolutely brilliant album. Blue Train on the Blue Note label. If you're having trouble with Train, this is where you start. Right there. Now, also, I decided to grab this and got back into Love Supreme. And it's on orange vinyl. And I'm starting to get it. Coltrane is pretty good. I even read a book on him this year. And there's a great documentary called Chasing Train. I think it's on Paramount or Disney or something. It's one of those I watched. It was in Florida. Great documentary. So there's that. Next, again, Mr. Norman Maslov makes an appearance in my video. We're having another chat, and for some reason the Doobie Brothers come up. And we start talking about their early albums and how well recorded they were and how great they sound on vinyl. And got me back into digging the Doobie Brothers. First one I picked up was always my favorite Doobie Brothers album. What were once vices are now habits. I freaking love this album. It has, what's that song called? The Take Me to the Train, Pretty Mama. Blackwater. Love that tune. Great album. Then I picked this up on vinyl. I got The Captain in Me. Solid album all the way through. And most recently, I picked up Toulouse Street. And these albums all sound fantastic. If you like nice sound on vinyl, and you have you're partial to really just appreciating good quality vinyl, check out these albums. They sound fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, but I got to tell you, after Michael McDonald joined the Doobies, I'm out. I'm out. Okay, last but not least, Rory Gallagher. So, my history of Rory Gallagher, I saw Taste in 1969 with opening for Blind Faith in Toronto at Varsity Stadium. Great, great performance. Fantastic, actually. And I became an instant Taste fan. I own all the Taste albums. Have continued to love Taste. Rory Gallagher, I followed his career in the 70s. I saw him once in a pub, I should call it a bar. And also had some of his albums. I think my favorite was Live in Europe. And I think I had the first album. And all through my collecting years, I've kept the CD, the first Rory Gallagher album on CD. Great, but I just wasn't playing Rory anymore. I kind of forgot he even was around, even though he was a favorite of mine back in the day. And then I can't remember how this all worked. Steve, it's All the World's a Stage, who's a big Rory Gallagher fan, he said, have you checked out this Rory Gallagher album with Bela Fleck on it? It's posthumously released. Wheels Within, oh man, that's so hard to read. I wish I could read that frickin' CD cover. Something within wheels. Wheels within wheels. Try and read that. Frickin' impossible. Anyway, Wheels Within Wheels, which is the first track too. This was posthumously put together by his brother, Donaire, and it is a 99% acoustic album. Some collaborations with like Lonnie Donegan, John Fahey, and Bela Fleck. 3 songs live. They played together live. You know, Bela's like one of my musical heroes, so I had to have this. I went on Discogs and found it, and it is so freaking good. It's my absolutely brilliant album. Thank you, Steve. Then I just started picking up Rory as I see him. I got Against the Grain, which I think might be my favorite studio one right now. That's a pretty good album of original studio albums. Blueprint, and recently I picked up Irish Tour 74, which is freaking fantastic. I'm looking for more Rory Gallagher every day. I'm going to get his whole discography. I'm going to pull a Larry Graves here and just get everything. And yeah, so that's it. That's kind of the stuff that I got turned on to this year. I'm all excited about. Thank you, all of you, for turning me on to stuff, for putting comments in the video to check out this and check out that. I absolutely love that. I got one more part to do in this video series, looking back on the year 2023, and that will be just, now I don't have data to back this up, but I'm going to pick my top 10 or 15 most played albums of 2023. I think I could figure it out in my head. Thanks again. Have a great day. Take care.